The Vested Group brings you inventory adjustment approvals. The inventory adjustment approvals solution comes with a custom transaction called the inventory adjustment request. This can be found by navigating to Transactions, Custom, and Inventory Adjustment Request. What the request does is it serves as an interim step between the actual creation of the inventory adjustment. So what we do, we have the ability to enter all of the information just as we would normally on an inventory adjustment, yet this particular record does not actually hit your inventory. So we can select our subsidiary and see that it populates several of the fields here. We can also select our department and process this as in the same manner that we would process an inventory adjustment. Whenever we complete this, we do have the related inventory adjustment field that you just saw, and the inventory adjustment record will be selected there. Also, now we'll just select our adjustment account at the header level. Typically, you'll find it in the cost of sales or some sort of expense. And then we'll move on to the line level. So here we can enter the items that we're counting. Once again, this is a preliminary account, so all you have to do is just check your inventory, identify your items, and then process this in the same manner that you would process an inventory adjustment. So we'll select our location. And one thing to note here is that when we select a positive quantity that we adjust this by, we can actually modify the estimated unit cost of this particular item. If for whatever reason we want to adjust a negative quantity, so we put the minus sign in front of it, at this point you'll see when you tab out that you do not have the ability to modify the estimated unit cost. This is a safety measure, as you can tell. So we'll look at a couple of the other fields here at the line level. One is account. So in this particular instance, we created a dummy account that we can put at the line level, and then we'll modify the inventory detail of this particular line. So by clicking that checkbox, we'll get the modal that pops up where we have the ability to define an inventory status if you guys use them. If not, no big deal. But for this one, we'll select good, and then we'll go and double check our quantity. So at this point, we know that we have to make our quantity on the line match the quantity expected. So we'll put the -10 in there, and then we'll submit it. This pops up, but it's not a big deal. So you just click leave the page. I'm sorry. At this point, you can see that that inventory detail checkbox is checked, and we can commit the line after we make sure that everything's correct. Now we can save this record. So when we save this custom transaction, once again, nothing hits our inventory at this point. And it goes into a pending approval status. So this is where we can still make the modifications that we need or whatever edits, just in case we found some more of this particular inventory item behind a different box or something like that. You can go and make those adjustments, and then when you're ready, you can click the Submit for Approval button on the top. So the Submit for Approval button will ping your inventory adjustment approver that's defined on your employee record, which we'll show here in a second. And then in this particular instance, I'm an administrator basically, so I have the ability to approve my own. And now you can see that the related inventory adjustment is at the header level, and we can look at that here in just a second. So now you can see this is the actual inventory adjustment. So it looks just like the inventory adjustment request, and we also have the linked back to the inventory adjustment request as well. And so this is where your inventory is actually getting hit. So all of this particular information is just the same like I just mentioned. So we'll look at the GL impact of this, and you can see our dummy account was the one that actually got hit. And we'll go back real quick and look at this, and now we'll check the GL impact of this actual inventory adjustment, and we can see that the real accounts for the inventory adjustment have been marked and hit, and our departments have been flagged as well. So now, like I mentioned earlier, we'll go to the employee record to look at the approval limit field and the approver. So they'll be located on the Human Resources tab, which I'll get to here in a second. There we go. And so we can scroll down to the inventory adjustment section, and you can see that we have an inventory adjustment limit, which defines how much we can approve or we can create. And then the adjustment approval limit is what we can approve to that limit. And then also we have our inventory adjustment approver. So all of these fields are set up. Thank you for watching.